It's okay not to be okay. The urge will pass. The negative emotions that you're feeling, it's not going to last forever. Seek the help that you do need. Be willing to join an amazing program like this. Push forward and commit. Be willing to change it and put in the work.
What's going on, Reboot Team? It's your Reboot Hero here, and I am here with somebody very, very special who is coming to us from the implementation group and is currently a member of our VIP intensive program. We're going to dive into that a little bit later. But for right now, we are here to listen to the experience and testimonial from a fellow brother on the struggle. This is Nikhil. What's going on, brother? What's happening, man?
How you doing? How you doing? Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Let's dive right into it, man. I want to know straight off the bat, how did you discover the group to begin with?
Well, I discovered the group. Definitely was a tough time in my life. I would say with my fiance then, it was last year, maybe January, or maybe a little bit before, I really wanted to put an end to this behavior, and it was causing so much stress in my personal life, my relationship, and really just all around. I've been struggling with this for like 20 years, but it
Right.
really hit that like precipice of like, I need to really put in all the effort to change. And I found out about JK and just saw his YouTube videos. And I think it was through the YouTube video, maybe even a month or two in, I think he has like a free PDF or something just some of the overarching themes, I guess. And then I was just like, I'm going to go all in. And then I joined the implementation group in February 2024. So that was a year ago, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious, when you were checking out like the YouTube channel and you're discovering, oh, he has some like free content for me to work with. This is great. Kind of getting some gears turning. What was the moment like where you're sitting there like, you know what? It's time. Like we're either gonna do this or we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Like what was the moment like that finally kind of pushed you over the edge, if you will, to finally inspire you to join the implementation program?
I mean, it was really just noticing that I couldn't like do it on my own, I guess. And just it was like, and like I just had a huge like argument with my fiance then, and it was just being at honestly at a very low point of seeing that like, hey, like you can't just do this on willpower alone or just reading stuff online or watching stuff. And that's what really was the turning point, or really the catalyst to be okay, let me join and get on a call with like a strategist and stuff like that.
For sure. And here you are, man. I want to dive into where you're at now as far as like some of the tools and things you've learned along the way. But let's start from the very beginning. What's your experience been like in the Facebook group?
Facebook group is awesome. I would say it's definitely something that could help you keep you accountable. And also it just keeps you updated on like the calls and what's happening. And it's just a good community to have, and really like you can post your wins, your slips. So it's been definitely helpful. And I probably should have used it more than I did. So
Okay, nah, that's fair, man. It's definitely a community where, sure, you get to be in the hub, know what's going on, but also you get to know guys there. You get to share your wins and celebrate progress and even share if you're experiencing a relapse, but ultimately seeking solutions. You know what I mean? So it's a great place. And I'm glad that, you acknowledge that it's of value, not just to you, but to, the community at large. One thing that you'll find also in the Facebook group is, access to our reboot coaches. And speaking of that, like, what's your experience been like with the coaching calls?
oh man, like tremendous. And even the one-on-ones, like there's things like I've learned so much in this program. I would say like this past year has been the biggest year from a personal mental shift. Like I genuinely didn't even know what feelings were, man. It sounds crazy. I'm 30, I'm 31, I'm gonna be 32 in a month. I really didn't even know what emotions were like, really. Like I was always like happy go lucky, like oh, everything's good vibes like all day, like cowabunga, all the like just good vibes all day. It wasn't genuine, like it wasn't like I wasn't able to really feel joy or really feel like the sadness, and just kind of running away from it. And that's, where I turned to my porn addiction. But on this program with the calls with coaches, like they really helped me, like you for sure, Dr. Eastman really helped me to understand, even in the one-on-ones and in the group calls, even listening to other brothers ask similar questions that I'm struggling with, just nailing down like the, even just from a technical standpoint, but also learning. So that helped create awareness, I would say. So then I can like actually put in the work on my own in my own meditation or whatever. So it was really mind blowing, honestly, this past year.
It really can be mind blowing, man. And I just want to say, like, I can relate to that particular issue as far as straight up feeling like you don't know what feelings are. And man, and I get that as far as like knowing how to like show face, knowing how to present yourself in a way that's appropriate, or what you feel is like the only acceptable ways of being, like, just showing up like this with a smile on your face, oh, nothing's going on. But with a lot of the tools and exercises that, I learned in my reboot, you learn how to be not just more aware of what's going on internally, but you learn how to develop comfort and confidence to just be more honest externally. It's like, hey, like, this is actually what's going on. This is what I'm thinking about. This is actually what I'm feeling. And that in itself is a project. You know what I'm saying? So I am curious, as far as some of the tools that have maybe helped you get a little bit closer to that, or tools that continue to help you along that path today. What are some of those tools look like?
I mean, for sure, I would say like the feeling exercise, like naming and validating and feeling that feeling has been huge. Dialoguing, of course, is huge. And the morning routine, that was also a huge, whoa, like exists. And it's not even just for like, porn addiction or porn recovery. It's like, it can help you set you up for really the rest of your day for everything that you do. And that's still something that I'm learning and like having progress in. I'm not there where I want to be, but just having that morning routine and dialoguing and feeling exercises, like so many tools that like that there is, man, there are a million tools. That's definitely one of them too. You definitely have to pick and choose. Definitely, I would say trying different tools is helpful, but every person resonates with different tools, depending on who you are. So for me personally, I think feeling exercise, dialoguing is definitely like the top.
Sweet. No, that's awesome. As far as, consistent use of those tools has sort of led you, as far as starting out in this program being like, I straight up don't know what feelings are, versus where you're at now. It's like Nquille in February 2024 versus Nquille in February 2025. Maybe not just an emotional awareness, but in general, what types of changes have you noticed in yourself?
Oh man, so much changes, and like I would say even more consistent at the gym, because it's everything is related. Like, and
Mm.
you say this all the time, and it's true. It's not just like the porn reboot program. It's like a transformation program, like just like changing your life. Really, I would say my relationship with my wife now has grown. There was a lot of stuff going on last year while I joined the program, like I was getting married and moving and all these things. But prioritizing the reboot has still been the most helpful thing. So when I would prioritize it, it's just been affecting every part of my life. So overall, definitely awareness, action, still there, still growing on that. Relationships with my partner has grown, and consistency in the gym has grown too. So overall, it's just like much, much better.
No, that's great, man. I'm really, really happy to hear that. That's awesome. And I love how you touched upon that. It's like some people will have this thing about them where it's like, okay, I'll have like my reboot stuff over here, and I'll have like the rest of my life kind of like over here. But the more time you spend, and the more you are intentional about implementing what you learn and getting more engaged and involved, you realize that it's all one thing, like one affects the other and vice versa. So I'm really happy to hear not just about your awareness, but just with the overall improvement, man. And that's the goal. It's like we all come into this group for a similar reason, even if it's not the same exact one. Okay, there's a behavior in my life that's proven to be unhealthy. And once we kind of get a system going for that, even if it's not perfect, then it's like, what do you want, Nikhil, at the end of your process to look like, feel like, be like? And the closer you get to that Nquille, like that's how progress is going to be made, you know? So I'm really proud of you, dude. That's really encouraging to hear, for real.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm super lucky to be a part of this program, and like everything that you guys are doing is like God's work, like superhero work to me. So thank you.
Well, that's awesome to hear, man. I appreciate that. So, with all that said, fast forwarding from where you were to where you're at, here you are now in our VIP intensive program, which hence the name of the program is more intense, you know? And I am curious, you know, kind of a similar question to what I asked earlier. What was the moment like when you were had this option to, you know, step on up and you were like, you know what? Let's do this. Like, what was that moment like?
Yeah. So I think the big thing was, and like I was saying earlier, there were moments that I wasn't prioritizing my reboot in the past year. So that was, I would say, the biggest reason to just like fully surrender, fully go in and just not hold anything back and just go all in and really like be a part of the intensive to build a consistency and just be all in and just grow in that. That's pretty much that was the big reason. I felt like I learned so much in the implementation and it was really the best. But for me to, I felt like to graduate into the next level, I had to join the intensive to grow. So that's the reason why.
Absolutely, man. Strap in. You know, it's definitely going to be, there is going to be that step up, though. It won't come without its challenges, but I know it's nothing that you can't handle. If, you know, with what you've learned in the implementation program, you know, everybody comes into this program or seeks help because, like you said at the very beginning of this call, there's that point that we all have in common where it's like, I can't do this by myself, you know, or I've tried in the past, but I've only proven to be able to maybe get so far, you know, and there's the old saying that essentially teaches if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go in community. Again, really encouraged that you've made strides, not just in your relationship with old compulsive behaviors, but with who you are as an individual, you know,
Mhm.
as a man. And I think the fruits of your labor kind of speak for themselves. Yeah, you're an inspiration. And I think for someone that might kind of be either listening to this, watching this, whatever, and maybe they're on the fence right now, right? Like, should I do something about my compulsive behavior? Do I even have one? Should I join this program? Should I not? There's a question that I love to ask, and I want to get your take on it. Like, imagine you see someone like that. You know, they're just going through a hard time in a way that you and I, you know, that kind of struggling in silence, not really knowing what to do, where to turn, who to reach out to, what to do, right? Based on what you've learned and your experience up till this point, is there anything that you would want to share with a brother like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes, join the program. There's no other option really. I mean, like joining this program will transform your life. There's no question about that. Are there things that you need to set in motion before you join the program? Yes. You have to be willing to commit. And that's really what it is. And if you are willing to commit, and if you truly want to overcome this behavior, then this program, I mean, it will literally uplift every parts of your life. I mean, there's something that we talk about called Reboot Capital, which is different areas in your life, whether it's your social, whether it's your spiritual, whether it's your financial, different quadrants in your life that you can improve on while you are overcoming this out of control, addiction. I honestly wish that I saw this video, I saw myself talking to myself when I was in 21 or something. I'm 32 now. So like to me, it's a no-brainer.
And I'm tempted to harp on that a little bit, and I'd be very curious to like get your insight on that specifically. It's sort of a more introspective version of the same question, but let's imagine if a younger Nquille, whether it was February 2024 Nquille or maybe a little younger, who was in that similar struggling in silence, don't really know what to do type of state. Is there anything that you would want to tell him specifically?
I would tell him that it's okay not to be okay. The urge will pass, and the negative emotions that you're feeling, it's not going to last forever. It's not life or death. It's not something that you need to turn and use porn or whatever it is negative coping mechanisms. It's okay. I would say seek the help that you do need, be willing to join an amazing program like this or whatever, but actually commit and slowly take your time. And also another big one, progress over perfection too. Push forward and commit, be willing to change it and put in the work.
Can't really say it much better than that. Nquille, everybody, thank you so much for your time, brother, and your level of commitment. And I sincerely look forward to the way you are inevitably going to progress as long as you keep that commitment intact, which I know that you will. If anybody has any questions about the program, about Nquille, throw them in the comments below. Let's get interacting. And just a reminder, on top of what Nquille said, you're not alone. We're brothers in the struggle, and we got you. Nquille, everybody, make some noise. Thank you so much, brother, and all the best to you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you.